قبيصة بن مخالد الهلالي رضي الله عنه قال: قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن المسألة لا تحل إلا لأحد ثلاثة: رجل تحمل حمالة فحلت له المسألة حتى يصيبها ثم يمسك، ورجل أصابته جائحة اجتاحت ماله فحلت له المسألة حتى يصيب قواما من عيش، ورجل أصابته فاقة حتى يقوم ثلاثة من ذوي الحجى من قومه: لقد أصابت فلانا فاقة، فحلت له المسألة حتى يصيب قواما من عيش، فما سواهن من المسألة يا قبيصة سحت يأكلها سحتا. So Qabisa bin Mufariq radiallahu anhu said in a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, and this is basically a clarification. We talked the previous lecture or last halaqah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala listed the people who qualify for receiving the zakat, right? إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم. So we talked about that the first two categories basically are the poor and the needy people, then the workers, the employees of collecting the zakat, and then for those whom you're hoping to gain their hearts for the deen basically, and then to release the captives and those who are in debt, and then for the cause of Allah and the travelers. So a person who works or who's wealthy, meaning has enough of the zakat or reaches the threshold of the zakat, have enough wealth that reaches the nisab of zakat, does not qualify for the zakat, right? So here the Prophet ﷺ is telling Qabisa that there are exceptions, that asking for the zakat is not lawful for any person who has enough wealth except for three people, three different categories. The first one, رجل تحمل حمالة فحلت له المسألة حتى يصيبها ثم يمسك. So the first one is a person took it on himself to carry the debt of other people, either because they're in debt or to reconcile amongst other people. And we mentioned that last time. Let's say there is a dispute between two people on a certain amount of money, right? So this person will say, you know what? You have $30,000 dispute, I'll take care of it, and let's just resolve this issue. So here, in order to encourage reconciliation between people and spread the goodness, the Prophet ﷺ is saying that this person is allowed to take it from the zakat money, right? Even if he was wealthy. Is that clear? Same thing if he wants to pay the debt of other people. So that's what the himala means, or the hamala means, that he took it on himself to help other people and pay for them in order to either to pay their debt or to reconcile amongst them. So that's the first one. قال ورجل أصابته جائحة اجتاحت ماله. So the jaiha here, what is the jaiha? A person that who had a catastrophe basically in his wealth. And the jaiha is very well known concept in fiqh, meaning jaihatul ardi or jaihatul sama, meaning someone has crops, a farm, so it is affected by natural causes such as freeze or some disease. You get a worm that will, attack the crops and ruin it completely. So someone who had wealth that was perished, and here specifically basically to what comes up, the plantation that comes out from the land. So that could be by natural causes, from the sky or from the earth or by something else. And so this person, all of a sudden, he was relying on the products that produce, and it is completely perished, so he has no wealth. So it is okay to help him from the money of zakat in order to enough to make him sustain his life. And he cannot just replace everything else, because someone might have 1,000 acres of grains, and that's tons of money. Enough basically to support him, right? To replace basically. So this is the insurance that the Prophet ﷺ is giving him. So instead of filing with an insurance claim, here you get it replaced by the zakat. وَرَجُلٌ أَصَابَتْهُ فَقَرٌ. A person who was wealthy, and then he had bankruptcy basically, that has no money, and people don't know that. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that you have to have 3 witnesses, people of wisdom basically, that would declare that this person has been affected by this bankruptcy. Unlike the first one who had basically a catastrophe by natural causes. Why? Because it's very evident, right? People can see it. Here, you need to have 3 people declaring and testifying that he had witnesses. And beyond that, the Prophet ﷺ is saying that it is haram, and whoever takes it out of haram. So he's warning that no one should take the zakat unless he qualifies for these categories. Now it's clear, inshallah. طيب. قال وعن عبد المطلب بن ربيعة بن الحارث رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الصدقة لا تنبغي لآل محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما هي أوساخ الناس. وفي رواية وإنها لا تحل لمحمد ولا لآل محمد. So this is also one of the exclusion criteria, that who doesn't qualify for the zakat. So the Al-Muttalib bin Rabi'ah reports the Prophet ﷺ saying that the zakat money here, meaning the sadaqah in general or the zakat money, shouldn't be given to the household of Muhammad ﷺ, since it's the dirt of people. And in a different narration, not for Muhammad ﷺ or his household. So someone asked, can the Sayyid take from the zakat money? The Sayyid meaning the people of the household of the Prophet ﷺ. The ruling that they should be given from what? The khums al-ghanima, right? وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فأن لله خمسه وللرسول ولذي القربى الآية. So they should be given from the 20% of the ghanima. So some scholars said, this is one of the contemporary opinions, that since that is gone, you cannot just leave the household of the Prophet ﷺ in poverty. And if you come across them, and I was in a gathering full of these, the Asiyad, the household of the Prophet ﷺ, most of them were poor, subhanAllah, and no one pays attention, no one knows who they are. So they said, yes, you can give them from the zakat money, otherwise you cannot just leave it. They cannot take the zakat and no one is supporting them financially, right? So that's the contemporary ijtihad, that they do qualify for the zakat now, since there is no income from the government or from the treasury or from the khumus that they deserve. In certain countries, up to recent times, certain governments would give them actually income if they're registered, but that's not in the majority of the Muslim world. طيب قال وعن جبير بن مطعم قال مشيت أنا وعثمان بن عفان رضي الله عنه إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقلنا يا رسول الله أعطيت بني المطلب من خمس خيبر وتركتنا ونحن وهم بمنزلة واحدة. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما بنو المطلب وبنو هاشم شيء واحد. So here is the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام is clarifying who are the people of the household of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. So who are they, by the way? So they're So the household of Ali radiallahu anhu. So that's one. And Bani al-Abbas radiallahu anhu. And then Bani Aqil. So that's it. So there is no other lineage that goes back to the Prophet ﷺ, except from these three categories. Ali, that's Al-Hasan, Al-Hussein, and then, as we mentioned, Al-Abbas, and then Bani Aqil. And anything else, does not qualify. So some people say, he's from the household because of from the woman's side. We're not Jewish to attribute it to the woman's side. So from these three lines, that's the household of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this hadith, is talking about how Al-Mut'im, or Jubayr bin Mut'im, asked the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam that you gave Bani al-Muttalib, from the fifth of Ghanima from Khaybar, and you left us out. So the Prophet ﷺ said, Banu al-Muttalib and Banu Hashim. So that was up to the time of the Prophet ﷺ, were considered the household of the Prophet ﷺ. But now there is not any left. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Regarding the Zakat, you mentioned that Rasul in the Hadith said it's awsakh, which is there. So, what does it mean awsakh here? In a real situation. For example, خذ من أموال زكاة تطهرهم بها. So, it's the asl to purify.
Right. So, the Zakat, as we mentioned, why it is mentioned in the Zakat, it's a purification of the money. So there could be something haram in the zakah. So it comes out and leaves what's left behind is tahir. تطهرهم also to purify their heart, their soul from the love of the money and the dunya. So that's part of it. It is what comes out of the zakah is not يعني that's what's meant. It is halal يعني, but it could be not halal, right? Or the sadaqah in general, and this is what the Prophet ﷺ, when he took out the day. So that is specifically to the household of the Prophet ﷺ. So they could only يعني, eat what is purely halal 100%. That's why he took the sadaqah, he took the hadiyah and didn't take the sadaqah. Why? Because the gift is the top يعني, earned money of halal, right? I'm not sure if that's clear or not. But the zakah and the sadaqah basically is the dirt of the money, basically, the unlawful things of the money for a lot of people. Yeah.
Someone take a loan. Who is responsible for paying zakat, lender or the borrower?
جيد, جزاكم الله خيرا. So the scholars here differentiate between two things. If you borrow it or you give it to someone, lend it to someone, and you think it is gonna come back, so غني مليء, meaning the one who took the debt, يعني is trustworthy and he's capable of doing it, then you pay the zakat for it.
And the borrower doesn't pay?
No, the borrower does not pay for it. Okay. So it is the one who gives it. But if it is something يعني, that is unlikely gonna come back, you don't pay zakat on it. يعني, like most of these loans. If it comes back, you pay money on it, you pay zakat on it one time. يعني, this is why I said الدين ضال إلا ما رده الله. يعني, most likely it's gonna go away. So that's why the scholar said, يعني, your dollar, keep it in your pocket.
What was the name of the Sahabi who narrated the Ahl al-Bayt hadith? Did you say Abdul Muttalib?
Abdul Muttalib, no.
So that was an acceptable name at the time of the Prophet ﷺ?
That was a very common name, Abdul Muttalib bin Rabi'a bin Harith.
So al-Muttalib, how can we refer to Allah Azza wa Jal as al-Muttalib? In what kind of meaning to put it?
Well, I have to look, but it seems like a lot of times when they say Abid, they say the servant of al-Muttalib.
Not necessarily Abdullah.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to give it some more search, inshallah.
Plus, I mean, he probably was named before. That was his name. Before Islam.
Yeah.
Like Abd Manaf and Abd.
But, I would expect that the Prophet ﷺ would, either say something about it or change his name.
That's a good point.
Or at least the second generation, they would not name it. I was very surprised to see Al-Muttalib. Unless we say Al-Muttalib is Allah Azza wa Jal is Al-Muttalib in the sense that, we ask him for this and that, so it could be.
نبحث فيها حتى ما نتأول من